Hey folks, this is Kalani. Patch 9.2 will be introducing a new way to collect mounts and pets by crafting them yourself. You can unlock the ability to synthesize your pet or mount of choice, allowing you to collect a very large number of them in the order that you want. No frustratingly low random drop chances, no rare spawn camping for days at a time. Collect the right materials, pop on over to the forge, and craft exactly what you want when you want it. So how is this new feature going to work? Let's start with a quick overview of what you can expect from this new system. The Protoform Synthesis Forge allows you to essentially craft your own pets and mounts. There are a crazy number of recipes available here, most of which seem to be unlocked by default. They all use special materials that you can find throughout Zereth Mortis, and the only limits seem to be when you can unlock the forge and how quickly you can farm the required materials. There's no extra time gating on top of that, so it's not going to take 18 hours to create a pet after you collect what you need, like the Cypher the First ones does, and that seems to be pretty much it. Unlock the forge, farm some materials, make the mount you want, and then another mount, and another, and a few pets, and keep going until you have all the ones you want, or until you have everything available from the forge. It's kind of like the tinkering from the Mechagon Zone in Battle for Azeroth, except this is exclusively pets and mounts for right now. If you're curious, Wowhead currently has 52 Protoform Synthesis recipes data mined, so that's 52 total mounts and pets, with 28 of those being pets and 24 of them being mounts for the time being. That is a lot of stuff to collect. Right now on the PTR, 14 of the pet recipes are unlocked right from the get-go, so that does mean we will probably have to earn or learn the others from a variety of sources around the new zone, or maybe the other recipes just haven't made it into the PTR yet. If that sounds interesting, well, let's dig a bit deeper and see how everything looks so far, starting with how you unlock this special forge. Unlocking the Protoform Synthesis Forge is incredibly simple. You just have to research the appropriate talent or trait point in the Cypher of the First One system. If you haven't seen this yet, it's basically just a big talent tree, and each unlock will open up new areas, or quests, or features in the Zereth Mortis zone. The specific point that unlocks the forge is Delic Understanding. It's one of the top traits that unlocks a new column for you to research. After you've researched the talent that unlocks the forge, your little Pokopot companion will give you a new quest to head on over to the forge and unlock it, so that takes all the guesswork out of where you need to go. Thankfully, the forge is also pretty close to one of the flight paths in the zone, so getting back here should be a piece of cake. To use the forge, you just have to interact with it. That will bring up your list of available synthesis recipes. You can see immediately that there's a lot to work with here. All of these are pets that you can make. Each pet will require 3 different materials to craft or synthesize. Genesis motes make up the bulk of required items. You need 300 per recipe to craft a pet. These motes drop from pretty much every monster you can kill in Zereth Mortis, so you'll get a bunch of them without even trying. They do take up bag space though, so having too many of them might eventually become a problem. They do stack very high, thankfully, at least past 200, so hopefully it won't become another big bag issue in patch 9.2. The next item is a Glimmer material. Glimmer of Vigilance, Glimmer of Serenity, Glimmer of insert random cool sounding word here. There are a lot of them, and each recipe seems to need a different glimmer. Some of them are shared, but most of them are different. We're not too sure where most of these glimmers come from as of right now. We know 1 or 2 do come from new reputation grinds, I believe, and I think it's a relatively safe assumption that some of them will drop from rare creatures, and some may even come out of treasures or from story quests in Zereth Mortis. You only need 1 glimmer for a craft, so I do expect them to be at least a little rare or quite expensive to obtain. And then the last item is a lattice. These are also very specific for each recipe, but in a different way. A lattice represents the model or species of any given pet or mount result, so if you want to make a snail, you need the snail lattice. If you want to make a flying insect, you need the flying insect lattice. You get the idea. These lattices seem to drop from the monster type that you're trying to create. Makes sense to me. If you want a blueprint to create a crazy cosmic animal thing, the best place to grab one would probably be from killing the same crazy cosmic animal thing. That gives you a more direct goal for farming, which is always nice, though I expect it might lead to high rates of competition for the more popular mount and pet types. If everyone wants the same mount, everyone's going to be killing the same monsters, and there probably won't be enough to go around. Group farming is definitely going to be the key here. All three of these materials also bind on account, so it doesn't matter which character you collect them on, you can send them all across your entire account to create your mounts. So playing alts throughout patch 9.2 and Zereth Mortis will not slow down your mount collecting or creating, which is wonderful to see. So collect all three of those ingredients, slap them together in the synthesis forge, and voila, your pet or mount of choice. Alright, cool, but what about the mounts? I don't see any mounts on this list. We were promised mounts, not just battle pets. And right you are, you can create mounts in the same system in the same way with most of the same materials, actually. All of the mount recipes have the same Genesis moats, Glimmers, and Lattice requirements, though they typically require more when compared to the pet crafting. The main difference for mounts is that you will need to unlock another point in the Cypher system. While this top point for Delic Understanding unlocks the Forge, it does specifically say it allows you to create small creatures. If we take a look at the bottom point in this row, this one says we can unlock a forge for large creatures. So there's your mount unlock right there. That means you'll need to spend another 220 ciphers and wait almost another week on top of researching Delic Understanding before you can create mounts in this system. I guess that gives you lots of time to save up the necessary materials and ingredients so you can make mounts as soon as you unlock the bigger forge, or just unlock the ability to make bigger things in the same forge, however it ends up working out. It feels kind of lame that it takes a good chunk of time to unlock the forge to begin with, but then you're forced to wait another week at minimum. You're going to have to spend a long time farming the currency on top of the waiting, remember, before you can even access the good stuff from the forge. Don't get me wrong, pets are cool and all, but they can't compare to mounts in my opinion, and that's what the vast majority of players are going to be wanting to create with this system. There are so many mounts that come from this system as well. If you take a quick look at the mount journal and just search for Protoform synthesis, all of these mounts come from this system. Each mount will cost about 400 of those Genesis moats, as well as the rarer materials and the lattices. You're going to need to do a crazy amount of monster farming to fuel your mount collecting in this patch, and it's going to be double the farming if you just absolutely have to have all the pets as well, but at least we'll have something to do outside of the typical daily grinds and all of the monsters that you would undoubtedly kill through your story quests, daily quests, world quests, and you know, whatever else you do in the zone. All of those kills will actually be very valuable because you will be passively storing up all of these currencies. Even if you aren't a super hardcore mount farmer, chances are you will earn enough materials to craft a mount or two without even trying. You will still have to go out of your way to actually unlock the forge though, so if grinding isn't your thing, then this might not be a fun system for you. But on the other hand, if you love to grind and you love mount and pet collecting, the Synthesis Forge will give you a lot of options in patch 9.2. But that's how the Protoform synthesis feature is shaping up so far in patch 9.2. What do you think from what you've seen so far? Do you like having control over which mounts you can create and having a solid goal to work towards? Or would you rather mounts drop from rares like in previous patches? How do you feel about all of this being locked behind the currency grind and time gates of the Cypher of the First One system? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to everyone who subscribed on Twitch. You can see the names floating by on screen. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.